We are live on a Monday night. It's not usually our Thursday night slot, but we had to get in the NBA play-in matchups, and we are going to be talking a lot about the play-in matchups. I think this play-in has more of it's got some juggernauts in it. People that you normally wouldn't see in the play-in are playing in these matchups, and we had to get the content out to you guys to see how it's all going to shape out. So I'm going to ask the fellas, starting with the West, because we all agree this was a little bit more compelling with LeBron and Steph leading the charge. What they have in terms of 7 and 8, 9 and 10 matchups, and who can they see, maybe getting on a hot streak and winning 2 games, or just, with the 7 and 8 doing what they're supposed to do. And I'm going to start with you, P. Bush. What do you see these play-in matchups in the West going?
First of all, I got to shout out Adam Silver real quick, because this is a genius idea. I think that for about, I forget how many years David Stern was there. It might have been around 30, but I feel like there was just minimal changes. Really, the only big changes that you saw was free agency and flopping. I feel like those are the 2 things that David Stern brought to the table. Not that he expanded the game internationally, but that was likely on the back of the players. But Adam Silver is legitimately taking some risks. And I think the bubble paved a great way for this. So, look, man, we got a mini March Madness in the NBA. I think, that's a proper name for it. It's going to be a hell of a couple games. But, Sean, like you said, dude, the West is way more compelling. Who would have thought that, the 2016 NBA Finals matchup would be playing in a play-in game, man? LeBron versus Steph Curry. I would have never guessed that in a million years, but we all know why they're both there. Injuries across the board. Klay Thompson being out for the year, obviously. Not that he's the biggest impact, but James Wiseman has been hurt in and out. They just haven't been able to get consistent ball out of anyone really outside of Curry, who's, in my opinion, actually having his best season of his career right now. I don't think you can really debate that. I mean, he's obviously had other good years, and then we know the Lakers, man. AD and LeBron, the definition of load management around their injuries, rightfully so. They can, steal a quick game out of Curry right here, and I got to pick him, man. I mean, I don't see Curry. Yeah, he's probably going to pop off for 40. I think we can all agree that he's going to try and put the team on his back. But, knowing he has kind of a safeguard of a second game that he could win, he's going to go all out, but he knows at the end of the day, he has a second shot against 2 teams that he has a better outcome of possibly beating in the Grizzlies and Spurs. So I do have the Lakers taking this game. I think that they'll just force anybody besides Steph Curry to score the ball. And we know how inconsistent that could be. So, Zoo, I'm guessing you agree with me on that game.
Absolutely. Not even a question, man. I watched that entire fourth quarter Golden State Warriors versus Memphis Grizzlies game to see the potential future matchups of these potential play-in games. And I am not impressed with the Grizzlies. I wasn't even that impressed with the Warriors, man. The Warriors did not look that good outside of Steph Curry, who had an off game in the first 3 quarters with Dylan Brooks actually playing some pretty physical defense.
Yeah,
pretty
he
impressive.
fouled out, I think.
Yeah, he fouled out. The minute he fouled out, the Grizzlies lost because they lost their best perimeter defender. And Steph Curry against these bigger guards that you have to put these bigger guards on to try to slow them down a little. And then the minute he got off, boom, Steph Curry went off. But the Lakers, they got some big wings. You can have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on him. You might even have put some LeBron James on him for a couple of possessions. You could have a lot of these bigger guards. You can put Kyle Kuzma. You can have all these bigger wings to give Steph Curry different types of looks. Don't give a small little point guard guarding Steph Curry to slow him down. So the Lakers defense, top 5 defense, and all you got to do is narrow down on one player, because Steph Curry doesn't got a sidekick. Andrew Wiggins ain't no sidekick, man. Like Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre Jr. Oh, this roster. This is an MVP type season. Yeah,
this is a side story.
Yeah, this is an MVP caliber season that Steph Curry has done because he pulled a bunch of garbage to the 8th seed. Legit, this roster technically is better than last year's roster by a little. You get a little Kelly Oubre in there, but if you look at the overall roster, it's pretty similar than last year. And you know what happened last year? They got the number 2 overall pick, man. They were a bottom 3 team without Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. This year with Steph Curry back, he put on an absolute beautiful performance this season.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping he makes the playoffs because I want to see Steph Curry in the playoffs putting on a one-man Iverson show. Man. He hasn't had that responsibility in a long time to pretty much put up 30 shot attempts a game. He's going to have the green light to do that. So, obviously, the Lakers, they're going to be taking care of business, man. LeBron and AD, they're both back, man. You see they got their chemistry, man. Man, they got 2 games under their belt. I feel good about that. LeBron tweaked the ankle again, but it's one of those little tweaks that doesn't affect him at all. So, LeBron and AD going to take care of business. This is a game 7 pretty much because pretty much single elimination game. LeBron don't lose game 7s. He just doesn't lose game 7s. And you got AD. Come on now.
Yep.
I mean, with them both coming back healthy, I don't think you can write them off. And even if they were to lose to the Warriors, like let's say, it's very possible that Curry pops off and beats them. I mean,
he could go for a 50-piece, yeah.
Exactly. It's possible. I'd say it's the most possible upset that is out there in this play-in game. I know that it's kind of from the Spurs to the Lakers is a huge jump in talent and coaching. I shouldn't say coaching because Popovich is a great coach, but it's such a wide range of talent in the West. Going from 7 to 10. But looking at that 9-10 game, man, the Grizzlies Spurs. The Spurs, man, they're in a transition year. DeRozan's really the only reason that they're even relevant. I'm kind of pissed that the Pelicans didn't make it, man. I mean, that's really embarrassing.
They're 2 young all-stars, and they can't beat an old, creaky San Antonio Spurs team transitioning from the Popovich era, Tim Duncan era, to the DeRozan era.
Right.
Stop.
Like what's going on? And I would have loved to have seen Grizzlies Pelicans, man. That would have been a great matchup to watch.
Versus Ja, 1 versus 2.
They got Triple J back, man. He's playing pretty well right now. But look, I got the Grizzlies pretty much. I don't want to say stomping the Spurs, but I think they'll hand them a pretty hefty loss. And that right now puts the Lakers in automatically from what Zoo, you and I were saying. That puts them in at the against the Suns. That'll be interesting. And then I got the Grizzlies going up to play the Warriors, man. So this is the game where I got an upset, man. I got the Grizzlies knocking off the Warriors, and I'm trying to say
this without Zeus. Did you not watch the game the past weekend?
It's one game. Another game can change, man. That's all that matters.
The Grizzlies are a young team that doesn't know how to close games yet.
Sure,
they do not know how to close games and Ja Morant, his jump shot is still not there yet. He's still he's not a good shooter.
Still second year.
He's good at everything, but he's just not a good shooter yet. And in these playoff type situations, the paint's going to be harder to get to. So you got to be able to hit perimeter jump shots. And I don't know, Ja Morant.
Clearly not, because Jonas dropped like 30 and 16 on them. So he's going to dominate the Warriors down low, man. And I know you hate big men. That's fine. I don't give a damn, because that's the team that's in front of Steph Curry. If he were to lose against the Lakers and the Grizzlies win, that's who he's going to have to play up against. That's one of the best defensive teams in the league. They like to get up and run. They're in your face. If Dillon Brooks does not foul out this game, it's going to be a way different outcome, man. And you want to know what, Zoo? They saw what they're going to have to play against. They saw pretty much everything that they can put out there, because it's really just Steph Curry. They know all of what the Warriors can do, and it's really all on his back. So if you can force him to, take some bad shots, and I know he takes bad shots all the time and they go in, according to your average NBA casual, they're a bad shot, but for him, it's not. But look, man, I think that Valanciunas is going to cause problems. I just don't believe in any secondary, quote unquote, secondary options that the Warriors have. And I just think that the Grizzlies are an overall more balanced team. That's fine, because Curry showed him he had to pop off in that game. He dropped 46 in that game. So you think he's going to drop 46 again?
He takes 35 shots.
Yeah, if he takes 30 plus shots, man, he's getting 40.
Especially after trying to beat the Lakers in the game right before it. Yeah. The Grizzlies are going to have more energy. They're playing against a slower team in the first game in the Spurs than the Warriors are playing against the Lakers. The Warriors are going to be a lot more tired, in my opinion, than the Grizzlies will be. So I think of all the upsets, this one's going to be the one that I could see happening, just because I'd love to see, man, the new blood versus the OG in Steph Curry versus Ja Morant, man. It's a great matchup in itself. I think Ja will step up to the plate, Zoo. I think he's going to have a nice 20-10 game, and he's going to pull it out, man. he's going to pull it out.
Nah, man. I have zero faith. I'm having deja vu from last year, man. Play-in tournament opportunity to get the 8th seed, and they're going to lose to the better shooting point guard, a.k.a. last year in Dame Dollar, this year in Steph Curry.
At least the Blazers had other options, man. The Warriors have literally nobody. Nobody.
I don't give a damn. I watch the Grizzlies offense, man. You know what they do? Valanciunas is going to be their leading scorer every single one of these games. If Jonas Valanciunas is your go-to guy in the fourth quarter, you're not going to win that many games. He's a nice player. He's a double-double machine, 17 and 12. He's a big fella. He's going to dominate the paint because the Warriors, without James Wiseman, they don't have like a true center to play defense, and obviously the rim protection on the Warriors not there at all. So he's going to be able to dominate the paint. But looking at that Grizzlies team, they got no perimeter guys that could get it done from the perimeter.
You don't like Grayson Allen?
Oh my Lord, Kyle Anderson's your small forward? Nah. Dylan Brooks is a nice little role player, man. He can play defense, hit an open three. But as your primary wing scorers is Brooks and Anderson? Their lack of Triple J. He can be irrelevant, man. He's a nice rim protecting big that can hit a three. Like on offense, do you know what I see, man? He's irrelevant on offense, man. I forget he's in the game sometimes. He pulls a Lowry market and disappears from the game, man. That's what
he's been out almost all year, bro. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
Jaren Jackson shooting that little funny-looking three ball. It actually goes in sometimes, but he's just a chucker for threes on offense, man. Defensively, he's a monster, but offensively, he's an irrelevant basketball player, especially in the playoffs. So I'm saying, John Morant needs to go off. He needs to dominate the game. Because from a wing position, they got nobody. Kyle Anderson. You believe in Kyle Anderson? I have zero faith in Kyle Anderson. I believe in as their primary wing scorers.
I believe in their team chemistry and overall more than I do the Warriors coming off of an already high-intensive game. I mean, these are one-and-done eliminations. It's very high-intensive, and I think that the Grizzlies are coming off just in a way better situation, beating the Spurs in my situation, than the Warriors are losing to the Lakers. I think that's look, man, he doesn't like losing to LeBron, Steph Curry. I think we can all agree to that. You know, they get along, but on the court, man, they're going at each other's throats at the end of the day. That's going to take a lot out on Curry if he's going to have to go back-to-back 45-point games to win, because that's really what it took to beat the Grizzlies. I mean, he had to absolutely pop off to beat him, and he's going to have to do that to try and beat the Lakers. So, look, man, 2 games in a row of him doing that. I know he's done it a couple times this year, but like you said, man, when no one else is helping him, I mean, Wiggins is going to have to at least give him 25.
20 points.
He's going to have to at least give him 25. And that's really their only option of making it into the playoffs, I think, is into the top 8, is if he has, a solid Robin game. He needs to have a nice little Robin game, not be inconsistent, and have an efficient game. He can't be dropping 25 on 40% shooting. He needs to be taking good shots in order for them to win. Well, look, it comes down to defense, Zoo. I know you hate defense, but it ends up being a difference maker in some games, man. And that's why I'm taking the upset, man. Taking the upset. It's going to be a close one, though.
Yeah, but I have a feeling Draymond Green in the playoffs, he's a different basketball player in the playoffs. He pretty much plays more point guard more than Steph Curry, the way Steph Curry moves off the ball, more like a traditional shooting guard. And with Draymond Green's passing ability, this year he's having a career high over 8 assists a game. I feel like he can control the pace, have Steph Curry play off ball even more to make him a primary scorer, because Steph Curry will need 30, 35 points to get it done against his Grizzlies roster right now. So that's what I see what they're going to run. And you got me on Wiggins, because Wiggins can't wet the bed and pull a 10-point game. Wiggins needs to drop 20-plus points, and he got to drop that because the dude's making over $30 million a year. You make over $30 million. You got to drop at least 25 points. Oh, my, 25 points a game. So I give you Andrew Wiggins. I do not really trust him. His lack
of ability. Do you trust anybody else on that team besides Draymond?
I trust Draymond Green. I trust Steph Curry.
He ain't giving you no points, though.
Draymond Green offensively is a little offensively challenged on the scoring area.
His 3-point shot is gone.
I give you that. But the Grizzlies on offense too, it's a little ugly, man. It's a little ugly.
They all have to play.
Okay, it's Valanciunas in the post dominating, and then it's John Morant creating everything for everyone.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
It pretty much comes down to this. Like, okay, if Ja and Steph go crazy, you cancel them out, and then Jonas and Andrew Wiggins have some like games that are equally. Then if you look to the third guy, you're looking at Draymond. I tend to go with Memphis because JJ at least has more skill and could come out of his shell. Over Draymond. Draymond's not scoring enough.
Greater than Triple J, man. In a playoff type atmosphere,
I'm not debating that, but I just don't know.
Triple J disappears. When I watch Grizzlies game, I forget he's in the game sometimes.
He's been hurt though.
Because half the time he's injured, and even when he plays, I forget he's playing because he's chilling in the corner. Like on offense, I don't know what he does in offense.
He's coming off an ACL tear.
I don't give a damn, man. I don't give a damn.
Oh,
Triple J. This also happened at Michigan State. I remember him in Michigan State, man. The guy disappears, man. In the NBA on offense, he disappears, man. He pulls a Larry Marketing disappearing act, man.
Watch, he's gonna drop 25.
Don't you dare compare him to Larry Marketing. Don't you dare.
On offense, Laurie's a better shooter. Laurie's a way better shooter.
You already know who Laurie's comparison is, man.
Oh my Lord! Don't say his name.
You already know his comparison, man. He's I guess a rich man's Davis Bertans.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, and they have better seating. They have better seating than the Bulls do.
They actually do. That's crazy.
God.
Yo, let's not get into that, but some of those players that you guys traded for are actually balling. So. Vucevic better come up in a big way next year. It's gonna be some questions for.
I don't
even know who the GM is. He better.
Stop that! I have no thoughts about Wendell Carter Jr. being in a Chicago Bulls uniform. Glad that dude is gone, man.
Yeah, sometimes people just need a change of scenery.
Yeah,
man. But speaking of Bertans, man, we're going to the Wizards versus Boston game.
Oh,
yeah. This is a game I'm hyped about because you know why? Because I had the Wizards going to the playoffs, and they made me look a little smarter than I thought because in the beginning of the year, they make me look like an idiot. But I believed in Westbrook and Bradley Beal, the two All-Stars in the Eastern Conference. You got to make the playoffs, right? You got to make the playoffs. They got
Pelicans.
Okay, I don't know what Stan Van Gundy. I don't know what the hell happened. That team's way too talented not to be a top 10 team. But oh my Lord, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. I got to give Westbrook props, man. He legit dragged this team with Bradley. He's the best. He's the best player on the team right now. Like his ability to create on offense. Like I don't know about the playoff situations. He gets a little stupid, man. Get a little dodo bird in the playoffs. Try to do too much. Try to create for his teammates. So I don't know but this is a 1-game situation. Yeah. And Westbrook in 1 game, he's going to get 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists easy. And hopefully Bradley Beal's hamstrings are like doing better because he's coming off injury. So if something happens with a hamstring, if it's just Russell Westbrook with a bunch of Daniel Gaffords out there, I'm going to be a little worried, even against the Boston Celtics. Like Boston Celtics are without Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
That is massive.
So
it'll be Tatum. Kemba Walker has been atrocious on the Boston Celtics.
Yep.
He got paid $140 and he got injured. He started sucking. Like Terry Rozier looks like the better basketball player right now. So I'm just like, Kemba Walker, what a waste of money. So it's going to be Jason Tatum and a bunch of nobodies and Russell Westbrook. And if Bradley Beal shows up, I'm taking the Washington Wizards over the Boston Celtics right now. The momentum, their ability on offense right now is actually surprisingly is pretty impressive. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Scott Brooks because that dude, I don't think he can coach at all. Like, I think Scott Brooks, I don't even know how the man has a job because that dude's offense, his offense, it has no creativity, man. Do you know what I call his offensive sets? NBA 2K, stuff what I do in 2K. High pick and roll every time. High pick and roll isolation. Like, legit, I could call these plays on offense. No creativity at all on this Washington Wizards roster. Yeah, that's pretty much what Scotty Brooks said. Scotty Brooks thinks he's like a top 2 point guard of all time, which is blasphemous. But I like the confidence his own point guard. But I'm looking at the roster, like I got to shout out Rui Hachimura. As a young player, this guy has stepped up his game. Like Rui Hachimura is putting up 14.6 rebounds a game. Like he's a nice complimentary wing player. Like he's not a bum. Like I know you hate on Davis Bertans, man, but he's a sniper, man. He's a sniper, and all you gotta do is just have him space the floor for Russ and Bradley Beal. He got one job. He doesn't even need to play with that much defense, man, because he gotta have to win by outscoring you. So Davis Bertans is camping your corner. So you're looking at this roster, like even I got to shout out Daniel Gafford. Robin Lopez is a nice traditional center.
Rolo.
Yeah, he got a little. I even like his ugly looking jump hook, man. His little jump hook actually sometimes goes in. So after that, nobody else matters. So you got a couple of nice bigs, the 2 stars and Russ and Beal. And I think it'll get it done against the Celtics team that is real right now.
It's all going to come down to who's hotter. Is Tatum hot enough to carry them through?
You'll need 40, man.
He'll need
no Jaylen Brown. That's 25 a game.
He's going to have to do a Steph Curry impression, man. This team is now all on his back. I don't think Kemba's going to step up, man. He really hasn't since he's been there. He blew a lot of people's bubble brackets last year again with his performances against the Heat.
Oh, I remember, man. I bet on the Celtics, man. I believed in the Celtics.
Horrible bet.
Kemba Walker.
But look, man, the Jaylen Brown loss is huge, and that's really what it comes down to. They would not be in the play-in right now if they hadn't lost him. I genuinely don't think so. And losing him, man, that's their second best player. Yep. I mean, what are you going to do? You're playing up against 2 of arguably the most prolific scorers in the league in Russ and Bradley Beal outside of Curry. And look, man, I think Beal's going to pop off. Barring, and Zoo, you made this big stipulation, is if his hamstrings are healthy. Because every time I've seen him, he's reaching behind and grabbing one of his back legs, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, man, here it goes again. But look, they're one of the hottest teams in the last 10 games. I mean, they are flying right now. I thought they were going to be a 9 or 10. Somehow they sneak into the 8 to the point where they don't even have to play to win 2 games to get in. All they got to do is beat the Celtics, and I got them too, Zoo. I got the Wizards going through. I think that, the Jaylen Brown loss counterbalances it out, but I trust 2 All-Stars versus Tatum and a scrub in Kemba Walker. I hate to call him a scrub, but it is a fact of how he's playing right now. But you want to know it's a sad game? I think it's even more sad than the Grizzlies Spurs, man.
The worst
Pacers and Hornets. 2 teams that have really fallen off in the last 10 games, kind of the opposite of the Wizards. Yeah. You can't really blame the Pacers, though. I mean, they've lost everybody, man. Miles Turner's out. LeVert's been hurt. Sabonis has been hurt. Brogdon's been hurt. I got the Hornets moving on here.
You have the Hornets?
I got the Hornets moving on here, man. I think Miles Bridges is just unbelievable, man. You're not talking about another young guy that's really stepped up like Bertans, but he has stepped up for this Hornets team. And, man, I just want to hear their announcers. At the end of the day, man, I just want to hear the Hornets announcers. But I think that LaMelo and Bridges and Rozier and crew, they'll be running up and down the court way faster than the Pacers are used to playing. And I got them going through, man. They've been a little off lately, the Hornets. I mean, they were like
they lost 5 straight games
5 in a row,
going into the play-in tournament.
And now they got their back against the wall, and they're playing against a very battered up team in Indiana. So I think they'll end up pulling it out. I think this will help LaMelo gain a little bit of confidence. I know it's not a true playoff atmosphere in a series sense, but it is like, he didn't play in college, man. So he's getting his little March Madness right now. So I do have the Hornets moving on in this one, too.
Wow.
Don't tell me you got the Pacers.
I got the Indiana Pacers, man.
Oh, my God.
I got the Indiana Pacers. The Charlotte Hornets, they're just not a good basketball team, man. They're not a good basketball team. Like LaMelo Ball, Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Like that, they got some nice young talent. Yep. But you know what young talent does? They don't close games, man. They make mistakes. They're a bunch of noobs out there. They're just playing based off athleticism and talent right now. Like they have a nice young core right now that's building that I think technically is ahead of schedule. When they were at the 7-8 seed, I was like, God damn, the Charlotte Hornets in the playoffs and my Chicago Bulls sitting at home right now, embarrassing. But so when they started losing all those games, regressing back to the mean, I'm like, okay, that makes a little more sense having them as a 10th seed. But I'm talking about this Pacer team is just a more talented team. Like Domantas Sabonis was an all-star.
Yeah,
like I think he's a legit post player, and pretty much in playoff basketball, pace slows down. So big men matter a little more than a regular season. So Sabonis is obviously the best player. Caris LeVert, nice young player. I still don't know why the Rockets traded Caris LeVert.
I know.
For Victor Oladipo, who didn't even want to be there, so they flipped him for Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah,
Kelly Olynyk. What the hell was the GM smoking in the Rockets, man? Should be fired
tanking.
for
That's
that.
what he was doing.
No, you could tank with having a Ben Simmons on your roster and say you get Caris LeVert and you flip him for
Worst
nothing.
Decision.
So I don't know what they were doing. Bunch of idiots up there in H-Town. They deserve to be bad. So you got Caris LeVert. You get one of the Holiday brothers, Dougie McBuckets, man. Shout out to Doug McDermott, still in the NBA, because on the Chicago Bulls, that dude was sad. Like McBuckets was not McBuckets at all. So I'm looking at the roster. Like, I give you that Malcolm Brogdon's injury. He has a right hamstring injury. Man, this guy's low key one of the most underrated players. Yeah,
Sabonis is questionable, man.
He playing. If he's questionable, you're playing. But the hamstring injury for Malcolm Brogdon, I don't like that. But I'm projecting that he's gonna gut it out and play this game because it's just one game, single game eliminations format. This guy put in a career year: 21 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. God damn, man!
A quietly nice year, man.
Dude, like this guy.
Imagine if Milwaukee would have kept him.
Dude, low key, like this.
No need to trade all those picks for Drew Holiday.
Dude, low key, because like this guy was an elite shooter. Like this guy was one of the few players that actually shot 50, 40, 90.
Yeah.
Like that still blows my Malcolm Brogdon's on a list with like Larry Bird, Steph Curry, Steve Nash, KD, and then you see Malcolm Brogdon. What the hell is he doing on that list?
Yep.
Like he
that was
pulled
his
it
last
off.
year in Milwaukee.
I don't know. Like they let him go and they replaced him with Eric Bledsoe.
Yep.
Oh my Lord, that was one of the worst decisions by the Bucks front office ever.
And now he's gone.
Now I'm surprised Giannis didn't leave after that decision, because that was a tragedy. Like Eric Bledsoe is just not a good basketball player. So Malcolm Brogdon, like this guy putting up a career year. I'm just looking at the talent roster. If their talent is all playing with Caris LeVert, you got multiple 20-point scorers on this roster.
Yeah.
Like LeVert, Brogdon, and Sabonis. Like that's 60 points right there. So,
but they're all battered, man.
One day. This is not a 7-game series. True. It's a 1-game elimination. So you just got to gut it out for this one game and try to move on. So
are they going to be able to keep up with the Hornets' fast pace, man? I mean, that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I do not like young teams. Though. You know why? Because they remind me of the Bulls too much, man. They go up again, they blow games, man. Like the Charlotte, I just don't believe in them, man.
Fair.
I don't believe in them. It's like them, like nice young roster, but they're not there yet. Well, and the Pacers are a playoff team last year.
Yeah,
pretty much the same roster. Yeah, like returning except for Oladipo. Exactly. Yep. So
the big loss for me though is Miles Turner. I think that's
massive loss. As a rim protector,
he is
3
huge
blocks
for them.
A game. 3 blocks a game.
Absolute beast. I mean, Sabonis is going to have to play very well. He's going to have at least 25. I think Brogdon's going to have to do the same as long as they're both playing. But yeah, I mean, Zoo, for me, it doesn't even matter because eventually I have the Celtics knocking off whoever wins that game. I do have the Celtics knocking off in my situation, the Hornets. I think that Tatum's just going to get absolutely. I think he's going to lose some confidence after losing to that Wizards team and just kind of down about losing Jaylen Brown and all that. So I think he's going to come out and he's going to have his superstar game because at the end of the day, you're all about those superstars, Zoo, superstar wing players at that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're playing either the Pacers or the Hornets, I'm taking the superstar of who's the best player on the court. And Tatum is across all 3 of those teams, Celtics, Pacers, and Hornets. He's the best player. So he might not even have to put up 40 that game. I think he could put up a cool 30 to 35-ish, and they'd be totally fine. So I got the Celtics in, and I got the Wizards in, man. Those are my 2 Eastern Conference teams. So, but I got the Wizards at the 7, and I got Jason Tatum versus the Philadelphia 76ers. That should be interesting, man.
That's going to be tough.
Damn, I feel so bad for the Celtics. Without Jaylen Brown, the roster just doesn't look that good.
Yeah,
like you got Tatum and a bunch of nobodies, man. I'm sorry, Kemba's part of the nobody crowd.
Hey, they got the quote unquote the draft picks. Remember, and you know what's hilarious about the whole Celtics thing with just their regime, what they've done the last couple of years. Remember when they made that heist of a trade with the Nets,
Yeah,
and I think they traded like KG and who else, Paul Pierce at the end and got those draft picks. And it's like now, and we don't know what Brooklyn's going to do. But it's just now, I don't even know how many years ago that was, 4 or 5 years later.
Yeah.
It is an entire 180 in terms of where the franchise is. It's crazy.
Brooklyn pulled a freaking 360, man.
All they needed was some cash and being in a big city.
No, and they made some smooth maneuvers. Like they were able to leverage a bunch of a late pick to get D'Angelo Russell as an asset. They drafted Caris LeVert, got a bunch of young talent like Joe Harris.
You're right.
Like they made some smart maneuvers, and they were all late picks too. Like all these picks, like Jared Allen, he was a nice young player. Like all these picks were like super late picks because they didn't own any of their high first round picks. They shipped them all to the Boston Celtics. And the funny part is, the Celtics hit. You hit on Jason Tatum. You hit on Jaylen Brown. These are top 3 picks. These guys are all all-stars. And you got these 2-wing all-stars, and you're an 8th seed right now. So it's just like
to the Heat.
Yeah. They did. They should have made
and then they get injured.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like their team really messed up with the Al Horford.
That was a big one.
Al Horford.
And Kemba.
Then he went and signed with the 76ers for that huge deal. Then he got traded again. It's just like, I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see and just watch the whole storyline of Tatum because I think they got this year. I feel like maybe is a wash because Brown got hurt. But if they don't get stuff cracking, he's going to be that. You know, how every summer there's a superstar that's disgruntled. He's going to be next. Yeah. And to me, he just doesn't even like
come to the Bulls.
He did, he's that could be interesting. Like if I had to pick 2, if like I could place down odds right now, like where he would go next, it'd be the Bulls or the Lakers. One of those 2. I would put money down on either one. That'd be fine. Because that would be beautiful. Because I need a small forward right now. I need a small forward on my team right now. I could get buckets, but I'm picking the Indiana Pacers to upset the Celtics. Yep.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I had the Indiana Pacers before the season making the playoffs, and I'm keeping that pick. Wow. This Celtics roster.
Right there.
I'm keeping it. This Celtics roster, I just don't like it at all. Like the talent level is so depleted. And I think this Indiana Pacers team, if they all go, I don't care if they're 75, 80%, I think they're the more talented team than the Boston Celtics without Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brogdon,
but
LeVert is the bonus.
You're making the Grizzlies argument that I just made against the Warriors. That's literally what you just said.
The difference is Steph Curry is in a tier 1. Tatum is tier 2.
Sure, that's fine, but at least Tatum has a little bit of help. Just enough. He's got better help than the Warriors have.
I don't even know about that. Like Kemba Walker or Wiggins, I'm taking Andrew Wiggins.
Stop. Kemba's hurt, but come on, man.
No.
Come on, man.
Are you kidding me? You want
Kemba's hurt, but
2 overpaid players that are playing under par.
Yes. I mean, they're both playing under the contract, but I would take
Kemba Walker shooting 42% from the field. That is the definition of inefficiency in a league where everybody's shooting 48%. Like everybody's shooting high efficient, especially this year where offense has a massive inflation because of the lack of defense. And in this season, 42% from the field? Man, I don't want any of that on my roster, man. Ain't talking about 6-footers in playoff games. He's going to be getting picked on by these big bullies on Indiana, man. Malcolm Brogdon, all these big guys. Caris LeVert, post up. Let's go. That's what I'm saying, man. I can see it, man.
Hey.
You're going to exploit matchups.
But, Zoo, that means that's the Pacers' 3rd game? So are all of them going to be healthy for 3 games in a row then? Or 2 games, sorry?
That's the reason why I'm not big on Indiana. They're like all hurt.
Well, I'm having the faith, man. This Celtics roster, I know they have no Jaylen Brown. I know that's a fact right now. So no Jaylen Brown. They don't have if Jaylen Brown was playing, I'm obviously picking the Celtics. Without Jaylen Brown, like this guy is a dynamic 2-wing player. Two-way wing player, and this guy steps it up in the playoffs too. Like when the lights shine brightest, this guy starts to take more shots. Like his efficiency even goes up in the playoffs. It reminds me a lot of Jimmy Butler like the type of game, 6'7", dynamic wing player, strong as a bull, very physical basketball player, and his 3-point shot improved a lot. So without him, no hope, man. Man, this Celtics team don't even got Daniel Tice no more, man. That dude on Chicago Bulls, like Robert Williams.
Their second best player is Evan Fournier right now. Him and Jabari Parker. Damn, Jabari Parker. Oh my Lord. Hey, I'd say that's rather comparable to Wiggins and Oubre.
Yeah.
Stop, man. Wiggins still better than Jabari, man. Jabari Parker's passed around like a blunt right now, man. Jabari Parker's been on like 17 in the last couple seasons, man. Jesus Christ. He keeps getting signed and waived every 5 seconds.
Jason Tatum's not letting that happen, though, man. He's not. He's that good. He's that good.
If he gets it done, it'll be a one-man show because Evan Fournier and Marcus Smart on offense. Yeah.
I mean, let's not sleep on Tatum. Like, I know we talk about Steph has to go for a 50-point piece to even like compete with the Lakers or maybe get them into the playoff or to the real playoffs. But Tatum's had a 60-point game. Like, he can go off. So it's not like Tatum can't just explode. But yeah, I agree.
He's gonna have to beat Brogdon.
Yeah, that's just the thing. The Indiana makes me nervous because they're going to play, but it's like I got to see them actually. I'd have to see them play because they all are dinged up. Like, LeVert's good to go, but like Brogdon being like iffy, the hamstring that could go, like Sabonis is questionable. Like, I'd have to see if those guys come in and play and they're healthy, Indiana's going to make the playoffs because they're just deeper. They have more.
Gotta watch them play the Hornets. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Basically. And that's why I'm picking LaMelo because it's just like LaMelo's going to be, he ain't caring. It's freaking carefree. Those guys, they're not supposed to be there. So there's going to be, it's kind of like the aspect with the Warriors. It's just, hey, we're just out here playing. Nobody's expecting us to freaking do anything. So the pressure's on Indiana.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, playing. Shout out to Adam Silver and whoever his assistants are that came up with this format. I think it's a really cool wrench to make everything in terms of the last couple of games important. So we are going to follow those playing games tomorrow, Wednesday, and we're going to see how it lays out. The playoffs will be, the real playoffs will be starting soon after that. And I guess it's going to be the quest of the NBA championship. And I think this year is going to prove that there's a lot of parity in the league. So we're going to see a lot of different outcomes, I think, in this year's playoffs. So we just wanted to come today or tonight to do this episode for you guys. Make sure you guys follow us on bullheaded_pod. I'll be putting up all kind of content regarding the play-in, things of that nature. Make sure you follow us on Anchor, Apple, and Spotify. If you're on Apple, make sure you subscribe and give us 5 stars because that gets us in the algorithm so you guys can get more episodes, I guess, going to the top of your feed on Apple, things of that nature. So for me, Zoo, and P-Bush, we're out.